Hey, this is Gina Grad.
Hi, this is Teresa Strasser.
Hi, everyone. This is Mike Errico.
Hey there. This is Casey Cavalier.
I'm Rocky Rose.
And you are listening to The Jay Franzi Show.
Lucky you.
Welcome to The Jay Franzi Show. A behind-the-curtain look at the entertainment industry with insights you can't pay for and stories you've never heard. Now, here's your host, Jay Franzi.
And we are coming at you live. I am Jay Franzi, and this is your source for the latest news, reviews, and interviews. So if you would like to join in, comment, or fire off any questions, please head over to jfranzi.com. All right, folks, tonight we have a very special guest with us. We have a hard rock band hailing from the great state of Texas. We have Awaiting Abigail. We have Abigail and James tonight with us.
Thanks for having us, Jay.
Why don't we start just real simple out of the gate? Can you tell me what the music scene is like there in the Dallas-Fort Worth area?
It's very diverse right now. I think all genres are definitely represented. You know, in Fort Worth, you got Billy Bob's and some other honky-tonk places. You've got Tejano. You've got rock and roll. I mean, it's very diverse. I think a lot of places and people are still recovering from COVID. It wiped out so many places, and you know, some of them have come back, and some of them have come back of totally different places. It's definitely bouncing back, and I would say on the mend, but diverse for sure. You could find anything you want in Dallas-Fort Worth.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned Billy Bob's. I've gone to Billy Bob's a couple times now on the road, but I primarily think of it as a country venue. Is there any other genre that goes through there other than country?
You know, what's funny is I think it's sort of a tradition of theirs, but so the Toadies are from Fort Worth, and they do a New Year's Eve or New Year's Eve show almost every year now. Generally, no. I can tell you in high school, between high school and college, I worked as one of the sound guys, like just a hand, really. But Jerry Lee Lewis, we saw Jerry Lee Lewis play there when he was on his I Gotta Pay My Taxes tour.
That is funny.
But yeah, primarily country.
What did you think of the venue from the insider's point of view?
Oh, just super cool. And it was really, you know, they do a good job of making it like kind of have the dive vibe, but also, you know, being a tourist attraction, balancing that, you know, you really get the feel for like, I still take people there, you know, when they come in from out of town, because it's not very far from where I live at all. Yeah, I think it's just it's a place that you're going to play at in Texas if you play country, for sure. You're trying to get there.
Yeah, I know I really enjoyed my time there for sure. Abby, I know you're the latest member of the band. Can you tell us how that came about?
Yeah, so I went on this app called Bandmates, not sponsored, but we did a Bandmates.
Not sponsored, but could
and
be.
I met James there, and I did an audition with the Pretty Reckless song, and the whole band loved it. So pretty much after that, they flew me down because I was in Houston for the summer, because that's where my family's at. And we did a rehearsal, and they all loved it. They loved my voice, kind of fit the tone. I already had the Bad Mind EP. It was already all finished. And after that, it was just the last test, which was to go into the studio, Empire Studios. And we recorded those 4 songs, and the engineer just loved it. Like, that was kind of the end result. James ended up saying that I was the right fit for it because James had a couple of other options there because they were doing auditions and things like that. So then we came up with the name Awaiting Abigail, kind of just texted back and forth different names, and it was really fun.
Jay, you want the actual dirt, then I'll give you the dirt on it. So we had the rhythm tracks. Yeah, we had the rhythm tracks recorded, and our original vocalist just didn't work out. A little too timid for the studio, and it was like a time of reflection for the other players and I, because we had, and our sound engineer, he's very good at what he does, but he was like, these tracks are too good, and you need to find the right person for the fit. So we were kind of at a loss, and I would just happen to be browsing through that website. I would equate it to a dating app. Swipe right, swipe left. And I saw her profile, and it had influences everything from Fleetwood Mac to Evanescence. And that caught my interest. And I thought, well, she looks kind of poppy. We may be a little bit too heavy for her, but I decided to give it a try. And the age thing was a concern because there's a lot of different versions of she's 20 now, but she was 19 at the time. There's a lot of different versions of 19 years old, right? But she was very persistent. She was like, so basically, how do I get in the band? I was like, okay, well, send me a video of some cover songs. And I gave her Pretty Reckless, and she did a couple tunes. And we were passing around ideas between the rest of us about who we would get and stuff. We were open to male or female. And she sent us the cover songs. We were like, that's pretty good. So we were going to bring her in and just jam the cover songs. But then I was like, really the real test, actually, let's not even waste time with that. The real test is we have these 4 tracks that are recorded. And I literally, one of them, the first track, I Hate You, I had some vocal ideas for, and I had a chorus to track 4. So I had a couple sketches, but really no words or melodies, really. And I said, the real test is going to be, give her these 4 tracks and see what she comes up with. And we did that with a few people, and that really thinned it out quick, because then you got to put up or shut up. Well, she wrote a song about one every week, and in her home studio, sent it to me. And that's when I started taking her real serious, because the first one that she did was Bad Mind, and it was cooking. And I sent it to the other people, and they were like, okay, she's real. And it kind of went from there. So it's really interesting, because what you listen to when you listen to any of our streams, what you're listening to is basically, she jammed with us one time in a practice live, and then went in the studio and then knocked those out with a little less than 2 hours. So kind of backwards way of doing it.
Yeah, it's different.
But totally worked. I mean,
Can you tell me what the age gap is between the rest of the band?
Go for it, Abby.
I know Mike he's like 60 something.
Yes,
so he's the oldest of the band.
So 20 to 62.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a wide range, and his daughter is, I believe, in her 30s, right?
Yeah.
Corey, she plays the keyboard. So she's like above me. And then we have Lori and Heather and James, and they're kind of all around the same age, because y'all went to high school together, right?
Yeah.
So they're all kind of in the same age. They used to be in a band when they were younger, so it's kind of like almost a family reunion, like friend reunion, band reunion type of thing. So it's really cool. It's definitely a wide range of ages, but I think that honestly gives us the different genres and the different time periods, and it kind of mixes it together really well.
Do you find any challenges in that?
I feel like we're pretty clear on the same page as to what we want to get done. James will usually just like, here's a song that whoever wrote, or they made the track to this. Do you want to songwrite to that? So then I'll do that. And then we all just kind of, I don't know, we kind of collaborate in the studio and in our rehearsal. We never really clashed. So it's pretty cool.
Do you have any challenge relating to that age gap?
No, it's surprising. It's like the island of misfit toys, but it's literally, I was thinking about that the other day. There's literally, I mean, it's not like there is an age difference, because I've played with a lot of musicians. I'm by default a classically trained trumpet player, and I've played in a lot of live situations, and it's crazy how well Abby is able to control her voice, her stage show. Everything is just super easy. The other people that I've been in bands with before, they know what it's like to be in a band. You either know what it's like or you don't. And when you know what it's like, all the logistic things just kind of work. So it's crazy, but the age thing is not a factor. And somebody else had asked us what it's like with Mike and Corey, because it's a father and daughter thing, but you would actually never know, because
you wouldn't know.
You would never know, because they're like, hey, bro, hey, what? It's a very, it's adult relationship because he's, he's 60 and she's 30. So,
Yeah.
but no, it's crazy how smoothly it runs. Maybe it runs even better because of the age.
Because y'all have different perspectives. I guess the only difference is I have X's on my hands and everyone else is drinking.
Nice.
That's the only difference.
There you go. I guess that works. But Abby had mentioned, James, that you had played in a band with some of the members in the past. Was that band also a rock band?
Yeah. All three of us were band nerds. We were in band in high school together. Like I said, I played trumpet. Heather, our drummer, she played saxophone. And Lori, our bass player, was in color guard. And we just started jamming in my garage, and we went through all styles. We started playing Poison and Motley Crue covers.
Right.
And they hated it, but it was what I liked at the time, and it was my house, so I made us play them. But our first band was kind of in that genre. We started writing originals, and then we started getting heavier. We brought a guitar player in, and he walked in and was playing Metallica and Slayer, and we were like, whoa, what is that? So we started getting heavier, changed the band name, and played quite a bit around the DFW area. And then we came out the other end. We kind of split up, and then some of the band members got back together, and we came out the other end of it like a grunge metal type of band. So there's a little bit of everything. And I think it's fun watching people try to put us in a box because there's so many, we've been called everything. And then also people just don't know what to call us.
Well, how do you feel that history has helped form who you guys are today?
It's absolutely crucial to who we are today because Heather and I, the drummer, we can get together and we can write incredibly fast. And we have 4 people that write music. Abby does, I do, Lori, our bass player, does, and Mike, our other guitar player. So I think the history and also having the common ground of like at least high school band with those other people, I'm able to sketch out ideas or whatever. And like, it's funny because like other people that are in this genre, probably you wouldn't find a music stand necessarily in their rehearsals, or practices. It's definitely the history and the experience. It all pays dividends in different areas. So the areas that we do struggle in or do need to learn how to, be a band in are very spread out and not in one area.
Well, let's take the creative process a step further. I mean, Abby, you mentioned at the beginning that you came into this blind, and James, you mentioned having these 4 tunes that didn't have vocals to them yet. That helped you guys have a way to address writing those particular songs. But since then, how do we go about the creative process now?
I would say it's almost the same. We do tweak things now more, but the rest of the band, they kind of come up with a tune. And then sometimes we'll have like ideas of what it's about and we'll collaborate on that. But they still kind of send me the tune and then I'll still write the lyrics to that. And then we'll tweak it from there. So it's almost kind of the same process, just a little bit more collaboration with all of us combined. But I'd say it's almost the same.
So if that's the case, James, how are you guys recording the material to send to her?
Since we had gone to the studio, I was able to, the first time, go in with a click track. It's kind of funny because the guy that's recording us, his name is Alex Gerst at Empire Sound. His dad recorded our band in the 90s. So I remember, he's our age. I remember him being around the studio back then, but a lot of local bands use him and bigger than local for sure too. But I went in with a click track. So now it's totally different. I usually write in Pro Tools. I'll just riff around and then have a click track. It's funny because Heather does not want to hear drums. She wants to have her own ideas about it. So it's just a click track, but I'll usually record the guitars in, and then maybe if there's a bass idea, then I'll play it on the bass, and then send out to all of the members the click track with basically just the rhythms and stuff like that. But what Abby was too shy or forgot to tell you is, so she's got a lot of pop music. She's got a whole she's got a whole like catalog of pop music that she did on her own. That's on her individual like socials and stuff. And we've adapted 2 of them so far to our style, and it'll be really interesting whenever these come out because it'll be fun to compare them, the production level of it. But we're already playing 2 of them live, and they're kicking. And so we've kind of come at it from all directions. We've done the okay, here's the rhythm section, you write the lyrics to it, to okay, here's your song, do you like what we've done with it, or like we're gonna make this heavy now, are you cool with it? And I mean, the 2 tunes that we've adapted from her, they're slamming, and they stand on their own as like in her solo project. They're very effective also.
All right. So you mentioned that you've got the 4 tunes that you guys came with. You got the 2 tunes that she's coming in with. How many tunes have you guys done together as a true collaboration from start to finish at this point?
Right now that we've done all together, we have another 3 that are cooking.
All right, and you mentioned Alex in the studio over at Empire Sound. Can you start by telling me what that studio is like?
He has a drum set in the back that has its own room. He has this huge mixer, and we kind of sit around there and talk about what we want to do. And then we also have a separate room that's in between the mixer and the drummer area, and that's the vocal. So yeah, it's really nice down there. He's really sweet. He's definitely the best sound engineer that I've worked with personally. So I would definitely recommend him.
James, your thoughts?
He's like another member of the band. You know, we have 6 people. He's like a 7th member of the band when he's in there. And Heather has recorded with him. Like I said, we recorded with his dad. He's a drummer himself. He plays in a couple cover bands and has played his whole life. And he's a really good player. And it's great having him because he's not like a guy that's just going to be like, okay, do you like that? He'll be like, no. And very involved in the creative process as well, like bouncing ideas. Well, what about this? What about that? And at the same time, open to it. Like if he has an idea and it's really good, but like I want half of his idea and not all of his idea, he's totally cool with that. But he's very, very involved. Equipment wise, I think it's pretty unique because he has a huge analog board and then the rest is all digital. He has a little bit of secret sauce that he throws in there, but I mean, really, he does a great job of capturing what we want it to sound like. I mean, when we hear it, we're like, yeah, that's what we had in mind.
Well, let's talk about that because you mentioned the analog board. It's an SSL console, and it looks like he's got all the rack gear, and it looks like a typical commercial recording studio. It's pretty large, and even has analog tape machine. So I assume you mentioned recording digitally, and you mentioned Pro Tools earlier, that you guys did not go the analog route. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think that's his dad's setup. That's there for nostalgia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty sweet. It's a 2-inch Studer tape machine. I mean, it's pretty slick. Yeah. But most people aren't using those these days. They're stuck in the digital world. And you know what? I appreciate that. I'm a Pro Tools person for sure. Started my day with analog tape and have made my way through all the iterations of formats up until this point. And I will be the first to tell you I'm a Pro Tools fanatic for sure. So you mentioned you have a Pro Tools rig at home that you record into. So are you just recording the ideas at home, or do you record anything that makes its way to the studio?
It all goes to the studio, and most of it gets deleted. I say most of it because it's scratch stuff, and he can do way better there with what he has. I just have the UA, which is good for what it is. But typically what happens is that format that I have at home, I get it, I put the keyboard parts in it, I put everything in it that's basically the rhythm section, and then I send that to him. So whenever we show up, we immediately go and, verses, choruses, measure numbers, it's all labeled. We immediately go right into tracking the drums. So Heather's up right out of the bat. The songs are already formatted. It saves a lot of time. He gets to know the songs, obviously, as any producer recorder does, but it cuts that time down like to almost nothing because it's all labeled and already set up in the scratch tracks. So we go right into tracking drums.
What type of input does he have as a producer?
he'll do whatever you want him to do in our case, but he also won't put his name on something that's not good.
Yeah.
So because of my background, I taught in the public schools. I was a band director for nearly 20 years. And I want the brutal, I mean, that's how we were. We'd have clinicians come in, guest conductors, stuff like that. So I told him I want it brutally honest. Like, don't blow sunshine. Like, if you think it sucks, tell us it sucks. If you don't understand something, tell us you don't understand it. So Abby can attest to this. He takes on that role and he'll do it. And then sometimes, it'll be like, he'll be like, well, I don't know about this or whatever. And then I'll kind of explain, well, I actually want to do this and then add this to it and then whatever. And then he'll be like, okay, I can see it. And then he'll go with it. But he's a pretty strong voice by choice for us. And he has not led us astray yet.
So can you kind of tell us what the day in the studio is like for you guys?
So after the drums are done, then he sends us away to lunch so that he can get that in the neighborhood of like how he wants that,
Tighten them up.
Yeah, getting it on the grid.
Yep.
And then we come back and we do rhythm guitars. And on the first one, on the EP that you hear, we had not totally gotten in the same roles that we are now. So Mike actually plays bass on one tune and that. But what we do is lay down the rhythm guitars, lay down the bass guitar, MIDI blocks for the keyboard stuff. Oh, I want to go back to what you were saying, though. How much of the stuff that I bring from home stays? What's funny is the introduction to Falling Under, which is the piano and the synthesizer thing with her singing in falsetto over it. That was just my idea. That was from home. I'd done that at home on my keyboard and played it in and plinked it out. And I was like, I want something like this. And he's like, all right, well, why not that?
Yeah.
So that ended up, I mean, I was surprised. I thought that he was going to be like, no, that's not, he'd want to do it there. And he was like, I don't think we should touch it. So after we get the rhythm tracks down, then we may add some stuff. He'll pull out some really cool stuff. There's a sitar part that's kind of nestled in the mix on Falling Under. There's a guitar with Nashville tuning where I'm playing some stuff that you would not expect to hear on a rock and roll deal, but he puts it in a almost subconscious, barely conscious place in the mix where we're just like, wow, that's magic. And he always says the same thing. He's like, just trust me. And he brings out another instrument. Just trust me. Now do this. And, yeah, not all of it's used, but some of it is. So we kind of do all that stuff. That typically takes up one day. Then the next day is usually like leads, supplemental guitar work, and then vocals.
So you pretty much get the entire track done, including leads, before you do vocals.
Sometimes not the leads. Actually not the leads in this particular case. She did the vocal line, and then I did the leads because I didn't want to step on her. There's going to have to be, on the next one, I'm going to have to carve out some space to play a little bit more. So I'm going to have to be like, no, you can't sing there.
Right. No singing for you.
No singing.
So, Abby, I mean, you don't strike me as the type of person who requires special attention when you're in the studio, but what do you do to make the studio comfortable when you're in there to sing?
Honestly, as long as I've got my water, I've got the lyrics there, I'm good to go. I've been in the studio a while because I did pop tracks, so I feel like that was really hard to do like all of the ad libs. I was in there for probably like 8 hours a lot of the time for one song. So I'm used to the studio. I like to take critiques and things. I don't really get like all upset about that. Yeah, as long as I got a drink and my lyrics, I'm good to go.
Lights on, lights off.
If they have LEDs, keep it on. If it's too bright, maybe not. As long as I can see the lyrics.
Candles or anything like that?
I've never done candles. Yeah, I haven't ever done candles.
Just working in the studio in Nashville for so many years, every time a singer would come in, we would have a different setup for that particular person. So we'd have some people bring in their own area rug, maybe a floor lamp, just things that made them feel comfortable. So I always like to find out what it is that makes you comfortable.
Yeah.
Don't give her any ideas.
Yeah, I've never-
Right. I know. Sorry.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, now I gotta make my own.
I can have my own floor lamp. I can do this.
Yeah.
Candles, sure. You record the tracks. Do you then leave? And does Alex then take over and mix, or do you stay there for the mix?
No, he does his own thing and then calls us back. He gets it to where he wants it or likes it. And if he has questions about stuff, he's got it all, noted. And I usually walk away from there. He'll bounce me a mix and I'll drive around and listen to it. I like to spread the time apart. Like I want to have the time to reflect on it, not commit to anything without listening to it in a lot of different moods and settings,
Sure.
But he gets it to where he wants it. And then honestly, I go in there without anybody else with him. And he and I kind of make the final decisions about what's going to come out. And everybody seems very comfortable with that and happy with how that's been going. So
how long does it take him to mix one of the songs?
I don't really know because he does what he calls his mixing time. And he's like, so his schedule is like he's either recording sessions or he's doing mixing. So I really don't know the answer to that question. I will tell you that he told me that this project made him kind of rethink a bunch of stuff. And he did a lot of, I guess, outside of the box stuff. And it was an awesome learning thing for him. And he ended up spending some more money on some new toys or whatever. But I really don't know the answer to that question, but I'll certainly ask him because we just might be seeing him again soon.
Nice. Do you know if he mixes in the box entirely or does he go back through the console?
He goes back through the console, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Because when he bounces something, he has to bounce it in real time. It has to play back.
Right. Yeah. So I'm sure he's got at least some of the outboard gear going for sure. All right. I asked Abigail earlier about some challenges. Do you find any challenges that you've faced so far up to this point?
I spend more time like doing band stuff than I do playing my instrument. Like playing my instrument is very last on the to-do list, and I hope that changes, but I know it's part of the gig. But even writing, like I would be writing like crazy if I wasn't. It's crazy, Jay, because like we're actually all social media illiterate, and we thought when we were getting a 19-year-old, we're like, awesome, because none of us know anything about it. And she does. She knows stuff about it, but it's just a lot, It's a lot. And I don't really know what I'm doing, but I try and I'm learning along the way. But yeah, it's that's the biggest challenge. And then the other thing, too, is like we didn't know what this was going to turn into. We didn't know if the songs would flop. We didn't know our first show. You mentioned the name earlier. We literally had our first gig, which was no small deal. It was at Trees in Deep Ellum, which is a premium venue for a local band to be playing at. We had our first show before we even had our name. And so we were like, with the promoter, I was like, okay, hold on just a second. She's like, she knew our drummer from our previous project is really why we got that show. And it was a high profile show. It was women in metal. And it was like some of the best hard rock and metal bands in the area. So we had to come up with a name pretty quick. And it's funny, she didn't mention it when we first started working together, but Abby one day in practice was like, I think it was even after the EP was out. She was like, yeah, my mom was a metalhead and she named me after King Diamond's album, Abigail. We're like, whoa, what?
You're like, wait a second.
Yeah. Wait a second. Little Pop Music Pants was named after King Diamond. So anyways, our name, obviously we wanted it to be very centered around her voice, everything about her. She's the most unassuming and humble person. It makes it very easy to make the project about her. And so we wanted her name to be in it. And it was just kind of a matter of finding the right, word to go with it.
So you were waiting for it. It all works out.
Yeah. That's
See?
it.
So, James, do you find yourself managing the band?
Yeah, I'm definitely the do-it-yourself manager for sure.
The player manager?
Yeah. Occasionally play guitar.
Nice. So that's pretty cool then. So I guess if you're spreading your time so thin, that time is the biggest challenge for you. What's the motivation?
I think the motivation is that I just love music and I love the project. I had a career change, and it's almost now like before my work was music, and it was work. All the things that go along with something being work was part of my teaching public school. And now I'm out of that, and I wanted to do music, and I kind of went back to it's like living your teenage years again, you know? So I'm very motivated by playing with those girls that I jammed with when I was younger. Now we're adults. We all got a life story, you know? And then it's very motivational to have a young person that is so open to ideas and new genres playing out and stuff like that. It's almost like I'm able to do what I was doing when I was band directing, but now I just have 5 kids instead of like 300.
Nice. So what would you consider success to be?
This has already exceeded my expectations by thousands of percents. Like I said, we got that first show, and honestly, like, we didn't talk about it, but we probably all thought it. Maybe Abby didn't think it, but I definitely thought, I'm like, okay, so is this one and done? Like, how's this show going to go? Like, are people going to show up? Are people going to be up there for us, you know? And I knew that it was like, and even the promoter was like, you know, I hope this goes over, because it was her very first show at that venue. So literally we were living it kind of like day by day. And I was like, man, if it's ended right now, that's still pretty cool. I really like what she did to those 4 tunes. Well, we had our first show, and it was crazy. I mean, it was crazy. We had a lot of people there. The people that were there for us were nuts, and the people that weren't there for us were up there anyways, supporting us. And it absolutely set the trajectory for kind of where we are now. So success, I don't know. I guess for personal, I feel like it's all gravy at this point. I obviously want more. I want us to get out there. That's why we're traveling a lot. I don't want to be stuck in Dallas-Fort Worth. I think it's really important, if you have the means to be able to do it, to get other places. So we're going a lot of places. I mean, if this is our first year, and we kind of have already all committed to another year, 2026, see where things go. I mean, I don't know. It's hard. Yeah, I don't want to say that I define success by a paycheck or a certain crowd size or anything, because I think it's more kind of about if you're enjoying what you're doing. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I welcome all that. I welcome the accolades, and if it ever turns into a net positive venture, that's cool. But that's not why we're doing that. That's all gravy on the side, you know, extra. Mm-hmm. That's extra credit.
Nice. So you do have some bigger shows coming up. Can you tell us about those?
Yeah. Immediately after that show, our very first show that was in December, I had been going, because I travel for work. I found myself, not a lot, but semi-regularly in the Hollywood area. And I had been going to the whiskey for a while since I'd changed careers, because it's the whiskey and that's what I grew up listening to. And, you know, I'd been there starting after COVID. I'd been there when it was packed, and I went to a Lita Ford show there. I'd also been there when it's dead. I mean, there's a band playing and there's 2 people there. Right. And, you know, I'd always buy T-shirts and stuff like that. Started talking to the people there and getting to know the staff. And Jake, the main guy that does the booking there, I was telling him one time, this was before I had the band, I was like, man, I used to play in all these iconic venues around the DFW area. I'd really love to play here if I have a band. I don't know if it'll ever happen. I don't know if I'll be able to get the other folks back there. January, I gave him a call after the show, because it was late December. And I'm like, hey, man, I'm going to send you an email with all our details and everything. But, like, I really would love to make a show happen out here. And, you know, we could fly out and make it work. And he was like, yeah, man. And so I sent him my stuff, and he said, I just may have the perfect thing for you. And I couldn't ask for a better opportunity. We get to open for LA Guns in LA on a Saturday night. Yeah, I mean, so and we're like kind of right in the middle. They're running 6 bands, so there's I think 3 before us, and then us, another band, then LA Guns play. So I mean, it's gonna sell out. It probably already is sold out, and it's just gonna be a rager. So that was kind of a matter of like, I mean, people believe in different stuff, visualization or whatever, but like I literally sat in that bar and was like, man, that would be really cool to ever play there. I didn't really think it would happen, but so yeah, here we are. And so that's going to be a big one for sure.
Well, that's
and then
the home for LA Guns.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and that's coming up in July. So July 19th, if anybody wants to check it out. But Abby, what are you looking forward to most with that?
I'm super excited to play with LA Guns. I just saw them in concert in Houston. I think it was last weekend. So I'm really excited to like meet them and actually play with them. It's going to be amazing. And I love LA, and I'm super excited to play at the Whiskey because I know all the bands that have played there, and it's going to be phenomenal.
Yeah, they got a pretty good scene going on right now too. It's not just what's happened in the past. The bands that are playing there these days are pretty sharp as well. So that's pretty cool. So you get that coming up, and then you've got others. So tell me about the next one, James.
Yeah.
We're opening for Lillian Axe. Lillian Axe is doing their Texas mini tour, and we're going to play for them in Dallas, but also we're going to go down to San Antonio and play at Fitzgerald's down there. And right after that, there's one coming up that I can't say anything about, unfortunately, but be watching for that because it's going to be a very big local show. It's another female-fronted band that's very popular in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We're going to be opening for them. Then that gets us to September. In September, we're doing a biker rally in Flagstaff with Texas Hippie Coalition.
That's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah. I wish that I could break the August thing, and I wish that I could break the September thing, because there's another September thing that's a 4-day mini tour, and it's like probably the most epic thing of the year. And if you look at our calendar and you're like, oh, they're playing the Whiskey with LA Guns, and this is more epic than that. I mean, probably there's nothing more epic than playing for LA Guns in LA, but like for us, it will have very good future ramifications, I would say.
Very kind of the same vibe.
Yeah, genre matching. It'll be pretty incredible.
You have to come back on and tell us about that. But what are you hoping the fans take away from it?
Abby, you can take it.
Yeah, I hope the fans, that they just enjoy our music, and I'm super excited for the new songs that are going to come out. We're going to go back in the studio soon, so we're going to have some new songs coming out. I'm also super excited to see everyone that comes to our concerts. I love meeting everybody. Everyone's super sweet, so it's really nice to meet everyone, and I'm just excited for all of like the concerts that we're doing. It's going to be amazing.
Well, you mentioned the fact that none of you are very big on social media, so how are you developing the audience at this point?
Through who we know, a lot of them bring friends, and the concerts, they're telling their family about it and friends, and they're coming down. I do have a social media, so I guess some of my friends are coming from that, but we're still growing on there, so hopefully soon it will skyrocket. But I think it's mostly just through talk and with the big names of the other bands, them coming to see them and then them seeing us and liking us. I would say that's kind of the main reason.
Do you take advantage of your time on stage when opening up for bigger acts to kind of fish for that audience?
Yeah, of course. I think it's just being yourself. Honestly, whoever really likes you will follow you throughout your journey. We've always been humble. Whoever comes up to us and wants to talk, we're always up for it. We love like supporters and fans. They're all super close and really cool people. So I think we definitely try to kind of match that energy, but we're still ourselves.
Throughout the years of playing music and playing guitar, and how do you keep up with technology?
Well, I thought when I got back in about 2 years ago, when this was going to be a thing, I started jamming with Heather again, live drums, and she plays so loud. I mean, she can play with finesse, but it is so loud. Mm-hmm. I thought, well, I want the best. I'm going to, if I can do it, I can afford it, so I'm going to get the best I can get. So I got EVH head, 100 watt head, half stack, only to find out about, a year later, the marvels of the Quad Cortex.
Right.
Which is great because of all the traveling that we're going to do. But we're literally a silent stage. I mean, and it's funny because I won't name the groups, but some of the groups that have come through Dallas, I'll buy the VIP package. And, sure, I'll take their autograph or whatever. But some of these guys I saw when I was a kid, And so, like, I'll talk to them. So I remember when you played at X and you played, really, what cover song do we play? You played this one. So I try to talk shop a little bit with them, and it's funny how many people you're hard pressed to find in this genre, at least on a bigger group. I mean, people are really going with the profilers, We're using probably about 0.5% of what they'll do, but the people that have listened to us live have said, yeah, you don't. I mean, even diehard tube overdrive guys have been like, yeah, you don't really need it. But how to evolve, I don't know. I kind of bought back into it. And then I went on a guitar thing. I was like, I can afford it. I'm going to try a bunch of different guitars. I went to not the end of the earth, but the end of the basic, and I ended up right back where I was when I was a kid. I'm playing a Jackson, It's funny. I did the LTD thing. I have an Ormsby. I really like the Ormsby a lot, but it's a fan fret deal, and it's really more for detune stuff. So I'll use in the future, but yeah, just keeping up with it. I think people talk about what they use a lot more. The collaboration, it wasn't like that when we were kids. Like people, even
a big secret.
Yeah, it's a big secret. Even Eddie himself, right, was always trying to throw people off with what he was doing to get his sound. But yeah, I think it's much easier now. Internet, plus it's cool to collaborate, and everybody's sharing ideas and stuff like that. So definitely through musicians and through just my own research is how I kind of stay up with the gear.
So are you guys using in-ear monitors?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
We want to, but I mean, that is like a big step financially, obviously. And to run the whole band, we're going to go to Abby having it, and then kind of go from there. I think she's the one that needs it the most.
Well, yeah, somebody who needs to hear pitch for sure. It's definitely going to...
Yeah.
It's going to benefit her more than anybody else, and then probably you second and so on.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, that would make sense. Do you have any brand or any particular model you want?
No. So you can absolutely help us with that offline if you have some recommendations. I mean, just what the other bands have told us, it's like, it feels like you've got to go pretty much all in on that or not. We don't want to do kind of our motto on this whole project has been, let's do it right and let's not put anything out there that's not top quality. So I would kind of want the same for I'd rather build something modular than if we had to be on a budget. I'd rather do the right stuff, quality equipment, and do it modular,
Nice. So you guys mentioned the commitment for at least 2026. So what is it that makes you commit to 2026, and what will make it so you commit to 2027?
I think we're all open to where it takes us. At the end of the day, Abby's a young lady with her whole life ahead of her. We don't want to hold her back. We don't all necessarily want to be touring professional musicians. Like, we enjoy the balance of our lives, families at home, etc. So the schedule that we're doing already is taxing.
Wait. Says the man calling in from the hotel room?
I know.
I get a lot of days off, man. But no, it's for we have people that have Monday through Friday jobs, and they want to do this for fun, and we don't want to burn them out. And so it's a balance there of how successful can we be while maintaining their home life that they want to have, and also not holding Abby back. The flip side to that is, look what she's going to walk away from. And really, honestly, if she does go on to do other stuff, we've already proven that we can do this remotely in a reunion type fashion. We could easily go to doing a handful of shows, maybe do a show quarterly and fly her in for one rehearsal beforehand. I mean, she's just that level. I mean, I don't want to call her a kid or say that I'm teaching her, but like I've taught so many kids to play instruments. Like, when you have somebody really special and like kind of what they can do. And so we're already at that point. So if she ever does decide she needs to be in a different city or she needs to be, doing something different, that option is there also.
Well, that's the benefit. We mentioned the gear and how things changed or how things change, that we have the ability to be anywhere and collaborate and put things together. There's always the opportunity for her to be in more than one band.
Yeah. She has other interests too. What are your interests, film or are they theater?
More film. Yeah. But I noticed that film is actually growing in the Dallas area and in Texas in general. A lot of the big film areas are the film studios and agencies are moving to Texas because of the LA fires and everything. So I think I'm staying here longer than I thought. So I'm excited for that.
It's blowing up in Austin right now, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it is.
All right, guys. Well, we do this thing here we call Unsung Heroes, where we take a moment to shine the light on somebody who works behind the scenes or somebody who may have supported you along the way. Do you have anybody you'd like to shine a little light on?
You go first.
Okay. Yeah, it's kind of funny. We've kind of developed him into a meme, but definitely Dalton, the merch guy. Yeah. Dalton is Corey's husband, and he does our merch, and he's very funny. He's very goofy, and he's not acting. It's actually 100% him. So definitely him and everybody's families in our band, which is all of them, all their families for supporting for sure. And then Abby's boyfriend, Bradley, for being the bad guy in the video Falling Under. He's the abusive boyfriend, and people always ask if the songs are about him, but it's not about him. It's about somebody else.
If it was about him, he wouldn't be around, right?
That's right.
Right.
Those are mine, but I know Abby has some too.
All right, Abby, what do you got?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Bradley. He's been to all of our shows, and he's going to try to continue to make all of them. So that, my mom for sure, she's the one that kind of got me into rock in the first place. When I was little, she used to make me listen to rock every time you're in the car. She'd be like, no, Metallica. She'd put it on, Megadeth, put it on. And at first I was kind of like rebelling against that. So that's kind of why I did pop. But honestly, it's made me like love rock even more. And she's super supportive. So I love her. And definitely all of our supporters as well. All of them are great. I love when they reach out to us. It's super sweet. They always have something nice to say. So just thank you to everybody that listens to us. We really do appreciate you guys.
Let's talk about Mom for a second. Does Mom have a name?
Yes, my mom's name is Stacy.
Stacy. All right. I'll keep the joke to myself.
I know.
Does your mom sing?
She honestly doesn't. She jokes about that a lot because she's actually an accountant. So she's like, I don't know where you got that from. My dad was a heavy metal singer. Like he used to do like the growls and everything, but he's not really a singer. So I don't know where I got that from.
I only ask because if you're 20, your parents have to be somewhere around my age. And
yeah,
James, that could be your next singer is all I was thinking. just trying to make arrangements for you.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it. She's there anyways.
Right.
Yeah.
You may as well take advantage of it. Get her in now, start her with some harmonies, and just work her way in.
There you go.
All right, folks. Well, we have done it. We have reached the top of the hour, which doesn't mean we have reached the end of the show. If you've enjoyed this show, please tell a friend. If you have not, tell two. You can reach out to all of us over at jfranzi.com. We will be happy to keep this conversation going. James, Abby, my friends, I would like to leave the last words to you.
Honestly, just thank you for watching. Thanks for listening to all of our funny stories. I hope y'all have a great Memorial Day. And yeah, James, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, thanks to all the bands out there that help us, work with us, and are supportive. We support them. They support us. Check us out on all the socials. And thanks for watching. And thank you, Jay, for having us. We really appreciate it, man.
My pleasure. All right, folks, on that note, have a good night.
Thanks for listening to The Jay Franzi Show. Make sure you visit us at jfranzi.com. Follow, connect, and say hello. This episode has been brought to you by VR Knives, your source for 100% custom knives made by a true rock star. So, if you're in the market for a new piece of art, reach out to VR Knives. 407-421-5528. 407-421-5528.